Hello guys, wanted to make this video because I see a lot of people making just a basic video like this, not really going much in depth from this. I'm going to use Virtualman's 256 gig image. Not sure what version it is, but we're going to go ahead and start with installing Retropie, then we'll go into some more advanced options. I'm going to try to do this in one take because my editing skills are not that great yet. So use a smaller keyboard. It's not so loud, so hopefully it shouldn't show too much on the microphone. Go ahead and upgrade. This is assuming that you have Linux Mint, Ubuntu, any derivative already installed and updated. So we're going to work with that. This is an i5 3470, 8 gigs RAM, GT 1030, 8 gigs RAM, SSD, and a second 250 gig hard drive. I've already installed this on my first take, so it's going to say most of the stuff is already done, but I'm just going to walk through the steps and pause when stuff takes too long. Then we're going to go into the setup, and I'm going to explain as much as I can along the way. If you have any questions throughout the video, just let me know in the comments. This one's basic, easy part of it. So basic install. This is going to go through and install everything from main packages. You're going to hit yes. I'm going to hit no because I've already installed it. It's going to pull up another script that's just going to go through and build and compile everything. Once that's done, you're going to go down here to manage packages, manage core packages. There's nothing really that needs to be done here. You've already got everything installed. I went ahead and installed everything from source here. This will take a while. This will pull up another command page where it's going to go through and build and compile all the emulators. Since I already have a pre-made image that I'm going to transfer ROMs from, this is what I'm doing. Then go back again, install all the sources. This is going to build and compile all the emulators. You're going to get a couple errors from each one of them. There's a few that are only meant to run on the Raspberry Pi. That's ARM based, not PC based, which is either 86 or 64 with 32-bit or 64-bit. So I'll go ahead and install all these. It's going to bring up another page as well. As we go down the list, there's not a lot of errors that you're going to get on here. There's a few that won't install, like Vice didn't install. These port right here didn't install. Love didn't install for this one. This one does. So after that's done as well, it's going to pop up with a couple errors. You're just going to go through it as well. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller with a generic receiver that is like $10, and it works well on Linux. It doesn't work on Windows for some reason, so glad it was cheap and it worked. So I went ahead and installed the Xbox driver. If you have any of these other ones, you'll have to go through and put that on there. For PS3 controller, obviously PS3 controller driver, then you'll have to manually map, and I'm not doing that, so I won't be able to show you. Again, I went ahead here and installed all the packages from source. The one that's going to give you an error is going to be PCSX2. It's only a 32-bit emulator, so it has to run a custom version of SDL. I believe it's 1.2. It's a cross between SDL 1.0 and 2.0, so it still work. This hasn't given me errors for using this computer for daily use and emulators, but I haven't tried gaming on this particular computer just because the specs of it. So once that's done, you're going to go down here and hit perform reboot. Since I'm using simple screen recorder, I am not going to hit that. And we can go ahead and close that browser. And in order to able to reset inside of Emulation Station, you'll need to perform a simple command line edit to etc sudo Hurst. This basically tells it, you know, you have the right to make these changes. Other people have used sudo nano. I use vsudo.f to modify it, because if there's any errors, it's going to tell you, and it's going to allow you to make changes, go back into it. If you use sudo nano, you make some errors and it doesn't work, you're going to have to Google first. I forgot all the steps, but you'll have to go through in the grub and go into a prior image, change stuff. Yes. So my help, I hit sudo vsudo.f. This basically gives me a better option than nano. And bam, etc sudo Hurst. And since I'm not editing this, you're gonna see all this, but yeah, I need to work on my typing. Yes, this can get you in trouble if your typing is not so great on Linux. So if you're new, just slow down. Bam, here we go. Just hit the down key, don't use your mouse. This is not something the mouse works on. You're just gonna create more errors. So since my username is Z, I copied the rest of this over. So don't use the brackets. I made that mistake when I was first starting out. When you're done typing that in, you can type it in or you can copy and paste. You'll have to highlight it, Control C, go over here, Control V, or Control V doesn't work, so you'll have to hit paste. Once that's done, Control X. Since there was no changes, it didn't pop up, but it would ask you, are you sure you want to save this? Yes. If there's any errors, it's going to give you the errors. What would you like to do? And it'll give you options if you made any errors in there. Now, if you are just running a single hard drive, we're just going to go through the easy steps. You're pretty much done right now. But if you want to run a second hard drive, we'll go through those steps next. So I plugged in pre-made image that I have. So we're going to navigate to the ROMs. So you're going to copy. You can do it either two ways. You can start here and here, then just drag over. I'm not going to copy any ROMs because that's not the method I'm going to do. Then the same with BIOSes. And if you want to run any of the scripts, I don't recommend copying these over to a computer because they don't really work so well. Only the one that works well is Hursty Steam Installer, and I'll do that one next. And let's see. And if you're using a specialized image, this might take a little more time to do because it requires a little bit more editing. So I'm going to show you where that file is. So if you have any special games or systems, for instance, like Galaxian or Aurum or Irum, those you'll have to get and modify. Retropie emulators. No, we want to go to configs. So configs, all, emulation station. Then you're going to need to edit this. Where is system sector? No. You're going to have to edit the systems config file, which looks like this from a Raspberry Pi. Yours is going to be on your computer. And I'll show you a quick command to copy that and modify it. So here we go. Just copy this right here into terminal, which looks like I've already closed it. So you can just paste it again. And as you can see, it's copying from this photo right here. This is your system's config. This is your main one that you don't want to mess with. This gives you an option to copy it and create a symlink in this location to modify it. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to mess up the one I've already done on this computer. Then let's see, we're going to go to home. You'll have to go to file system because it doesn't always show you that. Then option, Retropie, configs, all, emulation station. Then ES systems. This is a copy, and I highly recommend before you start modifying this to keep a copy somewhere, backup. You can make a copy, then it'll show up right here as so, where you can put it in another location. Just keep the original so you know what to look at. This is my modified one for a second hard drive, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But this is not one you have to worry about if you're not using a second hard drive. But if you want to make any custom themes, systems right here, this is how you do it. You'll have to write it, and I can go on this in depth with this on another video if anybody would like. Just leave it in the comments. So if you're not using a second hard drive, you're just going to go over to games, Retropie. If you get an error popping up here by the controller like so, that means basically your controller's not turned on. For me, I'm using the Xbox 360, so I just hit the center button and it connects. Just hit a button and bam. So this is not exactly complete like the pre-made image. Retropie has some loading screens that work on the Raspberry Pi because it takes a while to get into this, but with the computer it doesn't take very long. And I haven't really tried to put any splash screens on here, but that will be for another video. So if you want to change screens in the backgrounds, themes, I'll show you how to do that next. But this took a little bit of work just to get the minis up and running. Dwayne Hurst options works in here. I copied these other ones over from the Pi, but they don't all work because it's installation files or script files for Linux, and my username is different from what it would be on the Pi. This stuff is set up for a Pi username. So if you want to make it really easy and real quick, you can, when you install your computer, and I don't have a capture card to do that, to show you all the steps, but there's tons of video on YouTube how to install Linux Mint. I'm using Xface, which is XFCE. Tons of videos. Just make your username Pi and your computer name Pi, PI, all lower cases, and most of these themes will work right out of the box, and you don't have to rewrite these with the text editor. So there's only navigating through this with your controller. If you have a USB controller that's plugged directly into the computer and not like a wireless receiver with the mouse and keyboard, it will think your US keyboard is a controller, and it will make it automatically player one. So if you're doing that route, when you go into this, just unplug it before all this stuff loads. And let's see, Hursty themes. This is the next step we're going to go over. If your computer is named Pi, it will install automatically. So we're going to quit it. And if it's not, I'm going to go ahead and follow the GitHub right here. And you're going to paste this in the terminal as well. But I've already done it, so I already have the file. So you're going to copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and hit enter after each copy and paste, and it's going to pop up with a file that looks just like this in this exact location. Since my username is not Pi, I went through and changed all of my stuff where the sudo mod location references Pi would be right here. So I went through and changed it, and it installed no problem. And this gives you the theme changer. You can go through and install this. This is just like a Raspberry Pi. So if you use this script on a Raspberry Pi, it's exactly the same. But just be careful when you're modifying this, if you didn't use Pi, and not to do a Control F or search and replace. There's a better text editor called gedit. I'm just using this one for display. But don't go through and change every single thing that says Pi, just lowercase pi if you're using a different username. Then you're going to want to save it, close it, then install it if you have a different username. We'll go ahead and pull that up. Let's see, games. Since I did a full install, all these other ones pop up here. You don't have to use any of those. Steam is on here, but with this system, I'm not going to even run any Steam games. So let's see, options. Go down to Hursty's theme options. Then you can update it. You can get a different theme on boot, disable it. These are all the themes right here. Chromie Bloom themes manager. Then just go through and pick the one you like, or if you want to try something different, go through and try those. I didn't transfer all of these over from the image just because I'm not a big fan of all of them. I mean, he does great work and all, but to have, you know, all 1,000 of his themes on here is, in my mind, just too much. And let's see. So I got Astro Boy. I like that one. A lot of these are just basic little small differences on, or character swaps. I like Donkey Kong, so let's go ahead and go through and install that. I'm just going to hit A button, whatever you mapped as A button on your controller. You'll just hit, and as you can see, it's fetching the information, it's compiling all the stuff that you need, then it's done. So we're done. If you want to install more, you can. Let's go and go with this one as well. Neon themes. Boom. Cancel. This will take you back out. Gonna hit B, go back. UI settings. So this is the one I have was blue take. So go through, change it. What was it? Donkey Kong that we downloaded. Boom, boom. You'll hit A, then B, then you see it gets other configurations. Hit B again, and now we're in. This looks like an original Hey Chromie modification. And whatever you download for his themes, you can change it. This is one of my favorites. Blu-ray. I like the cases. I'm not going to record any gameplay with this because of the graphics of this one. When I record games, it's not running so well. Just slow spec. And as you can see at the bottom right, my CPU usage and memory usage is up really high. So when I did try recording the games, it stuttered. I don't have like an FPS counter, and I'm not sure on Linux which one it is. I still have to research a little more on how to use it, but it did not work so well. Now, if you're just using the single hard drive, you're done right here. But if you're using a second hard drive, we're going to do a few modifications. So we're going to go down here and open up disk. I use this instead of gparted because information files are a lot easier and permissions are easier to change. And I'm just trying to do everything GUI. So for the new people, all right, so you want to go ahead and format partition. I'm not going to go any further than this on this one because I don't want to delete all the stuff I've already transferred over. So you want to make it ext4, give it a name, that's easily identifiable, not close to your main hard drive, then you're going to hit next. Then it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete everything? Yes. Then it's going to format. Then this is not going to be right here. It's going to be a play button. So you're going to want to hit play and mount. And you're going to want to give an option to boot up when it first starts all the time. Normally this is going to be selected right here at the top. You're going to hit this button so it grays out. You're going to want to hit mount as system startup, show on user interface, give it a name, and this mount point is not going to be the same. You want to change it. Normally when you first format it, it's going to have this option right here, which is the UUID number, the universal identifier. You can do this if you want, but this will save you a lot of time typing and a lot of time editing your system's config file. So we're going to click right here, then hit OK. Then it's going to prompt you with the command, are you sure you want to do this? Then you need to give sudo access, so you're going to have to type your password in. But we're not going to do that, or I'm not going to do that. Go ahead and continue with that. Then your hard drive will pop up on the screen for whatever you named it as. If you haven't already went through and changed it, you'll have to get that option for it to show in your desktop. So right click, desktop settings, icons, and make sure these are right here if it's not showing up after you format it. If you want to change your background as well, you can do that. You know, everybody dreams of being on the beach, so let's go with something with water. Then you're going to close that. Now, going to the second hard drive, we're going to pull up another photo right here. Retropie, this is the SD card, and this is the boot option. Don't delete anything or modify anything, and you can put this back in your Raspberry Pi and play it. So we're going to go to Home, Pi, Retropie, and I'm going to copy the ROMs over. I didn't put the BIOS in here because I didn't want to have to rewrite that as well. So if you don't want to rewrite the location of the BIOS, just go to Home right here, Retropie, then copy your BIOS over. Since I already have it over, I'm just going to skip it. Done. Retropie menu. I copied this over, which I wouldn't have, because not all this stuff works. The only one I would use is this Dreamcast date time fix. And we'll just go ahead and open one of these up real quick. Let's see, bezels. Open with text editor. So if you're not really savvy with Linux, which I'm kind of an intermediate, I've used it for years, nothing other than daily stuff like surfing the web, typing up stuff on LibreOffice. So a lot of this is written for the Raspberry Pi, and I haven't really even looked at it much, but let's see. Let's see, next. So maybe it will work on here with some modifications. Let's see. Yeah, this will be another video. I don't want to stretch this out too long. I'm already pushing 23 minutes now. So once that's over, this is going to give you some errors as well when it comes time to modify. So let's go to File System, Opt, Retropie, Configs, All, Emulation Station. Then these are the system's configs file. You'll have to modify. When you go to modify, it's going to tell you don't have permissions. I'll just go ahead and show that real quick. Then save as, try to save in this location, make sure you're in place. Yes, this is going to give you the option. So I'll show you a quick way. We're going to close without saving. Bring this to your desktop, edit it. So this is the original Pi one. Yep. So we're not going to use that one. We'll go to master. that's one as well. So I must have a couple of these on my desktop. Oh, no, I'll put it in download. That's where it's at. Whatever works for you for keeping things organized, go for it. And we'll go ahead and pull another one up to show you real quick. So, find your second hard drive, right click, open a terminal. And this is why I told you to use the SDB1 as a mount option instead of the UUID, because if you didn't, it would be all the way out here. So you're gonna copy right here, and as you're going through and editing, I spaced my systems out. It doesn't matter. If you leave them together, I just space them out so it's easier to read. So we're just going to change the file path for where the ROMs are located, and this is why I use it as terminal, just for a GUI example. So basically just going to place this, and these are the ROMs. So you just want to highlight, which I've already went through and did this. So copy, paste. You can hit Control Find or Control F for find, search, and there's a search and replace option in here. So you can replace as well. Just be careful when you go through and do this. You want to do this for all the ROMs, but you don't want to do this for the Retropie menu. If you do use gedit, you can find and replace. It's a lot easier to find, but if you change the Retropie menu, it will not work because it's going to be pointing to your second hard drive instead of your home for where it's at. You can always go back through and redo it. I'm using home right here, but if you look at the one from the Raspberry Pi, it should show like a little squiggly mark. Nope, it's using home. Some have the top left key underneath escape, which is also your pipe key, that has like the approximate or the hyphen for some Hispanic names. I forget exactly what that's called. And also you can use that as a home, but that's a little more in depth. We'll go over that video later for portable emulation station on Windows. Then once this is done, editing, just go ahead and close this. This is for the Pi. Where is downloads? Downloads. Once you went through and modified all of this, if you wanted to add custom themes in here, like IRAM, or Level 1 had some videos where he went through and made some custom arcade sets, this is be where you would do it. If you have his 32 gig image, you can open up his systems.cfg file and just copy it over, change your locations, kind of like what we talked about earlier. Control save, boom. And with this one, you're going to get an error when you try to copy it over back over here. It's going to say, do you want to replace? Yes. Then it's going to tell you don't have permissions. So a quick GUI way around that is to open as root. You have to enter your password again. So just be careful modifying this. Whatever you use in this window is got root access. So say if I was to go here, I have root access. I can delete these files. You don't want to do that because you'll mess your system up. So we're just going to use this one. We'll bring it over. I'm not going to replace it because I've already done that. But for you, if you've done modifying this and you have a copy of the original one someplace else, you will replace. Then you're done. You can go back into Retropie and all your games, if you didn't do the first way, and put games on the internal hard drive or your secondary hard drive. Now when you go into Retropie, all your games will be here. So I guess there is a little bit of time for a load screen. Might be able to get something in there. Not a long video. And here are all your games. This one, if you're using VirtualMan's image, I'll show you real quick how to make that one. It does not pop up. And I don't know how to background video music off, so I'm not going to turn it off. And if you switch back and forth, left, right to these, sometimes the screen will automatically keep scrolling down. So let's go ahead and show this one real quick. So quit emulation station, yes. Really quit, yes. All right, let's close this one so I don't harm anything. All right, Control F, find, so PSP minis. If you're using PSP minis, you'll have to create a new systems folder for this. And this is exactly how I did mine. You can pause this, or you can just find the PSP one and copy and paste, then just change where it says PSP to PSP minis. The big one is to change the themes, so you have a separate one for PSP and PSP minis. Then you would save again. Then you'd have to open up as root again, then copy and paste over from where you had it before. And let's see, we're not going to go over PS2 emulator on this one. We've already installed it, but that's going to be for another video. Let's see. Yeah, this will be for another video. That's the same screen. So if you have any questions, just comment down in the video. I'm going to run this through some encoding, and hopefully it will turn out a lot better, because the size is way too big for now. If you have any questions, just comment down below. If I went too fast on something, you can just ask some questions, and I'll try to respond back. And have a good day.